Okay, so the fifth type of graphic that can be seen on some tests in the IELTS is what's called a flow chart. Flow like the flow of water or the flow of a river. And flow charts are used to represent the steps, stages, phases in a non-physical process, such as computers, workflow, idea planning, and so on. Again, a good way to understand this is to see an example. So the example we will use is, let's just take a general HR hiring process. HR meaning human resources. Big companies have departments which are responsible for the hiring, interviewing, firing of employees, and so on. So let's say that in the first box here, in the first stage phase, the applicant who would like to work for this company hands in the CV or resume. Then of course the company will review the resume or CV and will possibly reject the resume or CV, or perhaps if they like the resume CV, then they will call for an interview. Now of course, depending on the result of the interview, again, the company might reject the applicant, or the applicant might be hired. Now after hiring, perhaps the applicant might need to go for some training, or if they have the skills necessary for the job, then they might just begin work. So this is a typical flow chart describing the steps, stages, or phases in a non-physical process, such as computers, or in this case, workflow, which is the hiring process for this company. When describing this type of a flow chart for the task 1 of the IELTS, most importantly, you must remember process vocabulary. And process vocabulary used in process essays, of course, includes words such as first, second, third, fourth, so on, next, then, after that, or after this, following, and maybe in the last step, finally. So this vocabulary is very, very important to remember. Again, just a synonym for to show or to depict, to represent. So a verbal paragraph of this simple flowchart here might sound something like this. This flowchart is describing the stages that this company has in their HR hiring process for hiring employees. It contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different stages. In the first stage, the applicant is required to hand in their CV or resume. Once the company has reviewed the CV, they may reject the applicant, or if the applicant is favorable, they will call the applicant in for an interview. Second, after the interview phase, the applicant might be rejected, or on the other hand, might be hired to work for the company. After that, the applicant could be sent for training. If the applicant has all of the skills necessary for the position, they may finally begin work. So again, this is just a simple representation. The IELTS will likely contain something a little bit more complex, but the idea is the same. So remember, flowcharts are used to represent the steps, stages, phases in a non-physical process, generally, such as computers or workflow. All right. We have one more type of graphic left, which is number 6 that you might see on the IELTS. It's sometimes quite popular to see on the IELTS, which are the diagrams. So let's talk next about the applications of diagrams and what they are.